Body is projected at an angle of 30 degree above the horizontal from the top of a tower and strikes after 5 seconds at an angle 45 degree with the horizontal. Find the height of the tower and the speed with which the body is projected. Suppose I consider a body which is projected from the top of the tower. Now it will perform a projectile motion somewhat like this. Okay. Now over here the initial velocity is equal to u and it makes an angle 30 degree with the above. So it will be equal to 30 degree. Okay. So this is equal to ux and this will be equal to uy. When it strikes the ground over here, when it strikes the ground on the other place, the angle made is given as 45 degree with the horizontal and the vertical. So this will be equal to 45 degree with the horizontal, where the horizontal velocity will remain ux. Okay, the horizontal velocity does not change, so it will remain ux, and the vertical velocity will change to vy. Okay, initially it was uy and the final velocity is equal to vy. Okay, and the time period is given as 5 seconds and the final angle over here is equal to 45 degree. Now I can say that the initial velocity along the y direction will be equal to u sin 30. Okay, and the initial velocity along the x direction is equal to u cos 30. Okay, by the first diagram. And now let us see the final velocities. Final velocity of the x direction will remain same, which is equal to ux. Let us find out the final velocity along the y direction. If you see, this angle made is equal to 45 degree. So I can say that ux and vy both are same. So vy will be equal to ux, which will be equal to vy is equal to ux, which is equal to u cos 30. Okay, since it is in the vertically downward direction, vy, if I write down in vector form, it will be minus u cos 30. Okay, now this is the initial velocity along y direction and this is the final velocity along the y direction. We have the time period is given as 5. We will use the formula v is equal to u plus at. Now this I am applying for the vertical direction, because in the horizontal since there is no acceleration, the body will have the constant velocity. Okay, so vy will be equal to minus u cos 30 and ux is equal to u sin 30, and over here it will be equal to minus 10 into t. Okay, minus 10 into t, since it is in the vertically downward direction. Since it is in the vertically downward direction, it will be equal to minus 10 into t. So basically it will be equal to, if I want to calculate the time period is given as 5. So over here u sin 30, that is half, plus cos 30, which is equal to root 3 by 2, is equal to 10 into t. Okay, which is equal to 10 into t. So u1 plus root 3 will be equal to 20 into t. Now the time period is given as 5 seconds, so I will substitute it as 5. So basically the initial velocity of the particle will be equal to 100 divided by 1.717, okay, plus 1, which will be equal to 2.717. Okay, 2.717. So if I calculate the initial velocity of the particle, 100 divided by 2.7, 100 divided by 2.7 will roughly come out to be 37 or 38 meter per second. Okay, now since I got the initial velocity, I will proceed with the next part. Okay, find the height of the tower. Now the height of the tower can be easily found out. Okay, initial velocity is equal to 37. Okay, and the final velocity over here is equal to, okay, initial u is equal to 37, initial velocity over here is equal to u sin 30, and final velocity is equal to u cos 30. Okay, so initial velocity, let us just take the initial velocity uy is equal to u sin 30, which will be equal to 37 divided by 2, which is equal to 18.5. okay, which is equal to 18.5. Now s is equal to ut plus half at square, so s is equal to 18.5 into t, time given is 5 seconds, minus half into 10 into 5 square. So it will be equal to 18.5 into 5. Okay, 18.5 into 5 will be equal to, over here it will be equal to roughly equal to 99.5. okay, it will be roughly equal to 99.5 minus over here it will be equal to, or 94.5. okay, so it will be equal to 94.5 minus, it will be equal to 5 into 5 square, which is equal to minus 125. So if I calculate the value, roughly it will be equal to roughly or approximately it will be equal to minus 30 meter. This is the height of the tower and this is the initial velocity which is equal to 37 meter per second.